Hi. Um, it is February right now, and Valentine's Day is coming up this Saturday, and I thought it would be a good time to talk about love. And what I mean by that is loving yourself. We often struggle with loving ourselves. We find it easy to love others, but it's hard to love ourselves because we're in our heads and we tell ourselves things that aren't true about ourselves. And when we tell ourselves those things, we believe them. We need to practice loving ourselves. Practice saying nice things to yourself. I am smart. I am kind. I am whatever you are. Practice kind words. Because when you practice kind words, you begin to believe them. And when you begin to believe them, you embody them. Your confidence grows. And that's all in just loving yourself. We spend a lot of time loving others. We gift others. We give advice to others. We lift others up. We assure others. But we don't do the same thing for ourselves. We don't lift ourselves up when we're down. We tend to beat ourselves down even further. Find that when you make a mistake, you wallow and you tell yourself, how could I? But you don't need to wallow. Forgive. Love yourself enough to forgive yourself. Love yourself enough to say it's okay. I know I have a hard time loving myself. I have a lot of unkind words in my head. But when I really think about those unkind words, they were never my own. The unkind words came from others. They were others' opinions. And because I couldn't love myself, I allowed them to become my own thoughts. Because I thought that if others couldn't love me, how could I love myself? But it's the other way around. You need to love yourself first before you can love others. And that doesn't mean you can't love others while you're learning to love yourself. You can. But true unconditional love starts first in your own heart. And once you have unconditional love for yourself, you can share it. And once you have unconditional love for yourself, no one can take it away from you. It's yours. I remember back to being a child, back to when I was maybe around 3 or 4. And I remember thinking that I was the most beautiful person in the world. I loved myself then. But then I went to school and I had people tell me that I was ugly, that I was fat, that I was a teacher's pet, that I was a 4 eyes. All of these things were put into my head, and I slowly began to hate myself because I thought if others didn't like me, there must be something wrong. And I have a memory of being around 5 or 6, looking in the mirror, and for the first time truly looking at myself. And I just cried. Because all I had in my head were the others' words telling me that I was ugly. And when I looked in the mirror, that's what I saw. I saw that ugly person because I had already told myself that it was true. We can't say bad things about ourselves. And we shouldn't say bad things about others because your words become theirs. And do you want to be the voice in someone's head telling them that they're not worthy? No, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be the reason that someone gives up on themselves. Speak kindly to yourself and others. Because when you can speak kindly, even if you might not mean it, when you can speak kindly, you will start to believe the things that you say. And there is always something you can find about someone that is kind. You could see a man who hasn't bathed in weeks, who has let himself go, and it's clear that he's stopped caring. But still find something about him that is kind. And if you want to express that, because just saying, I like your shirt, is likely going to lift his confidence. And that's all we're trying to do in giving our words to others. We're either trying to lift them up or knock them down. And you don't want to be the person who knocks someone down. You don't want to be the reason someone falls down the ladder. And if you are, that says you have work to do on yourself. Because if you express unkind words to others, you have unkind words in your heart. And the unkind words are the words that you believe about yourself. When you tell someone that they're ugly, there is a part of you that feels ugly. When you tell someone that they're stupid, there is a part of you that feels stupid. And when you figure out what that part is, you can heal it. We can't just spend our days knocking each other down. We're here to lift each other up. We're here to share love unconditionally. Spread love, not hate. Even if you don't agree with someone, even if you don't like someone, you can still be kind. And if you have bad thoughts, you don't have to express them. If you know they're wrong, you don't have to express them. Have the thought. Tell yourself that it is unkind. And next time, think better thoughts. And it's really hard to love yourself, especially in a world that is built around telling us that we're not okay. We have commercials with half-naked women who are skin and bone, and that is beauty. That is the standard. We have commercials for all kinds of medications, not because they want to help you, but because they're trying to tell you something's wrong with you, and here's a pill to fix it. But that's not always the solution. We live in a world that is built around knocking people down. And it's our job to be the love. It's our job to lift each other up. And if you can't lift others up, start small. Lift yourself. Because if you can lift yourself up, you can lift up others. And that doesn't mean that you're perfect. That doesn't mean that you have everything figured out. It doesn't mean that you don't have behaviors you don't like or have thoughts that are unkind. It just means that you are intentionally choosing to be a better person. And in choosing to be a better person, you're choosing love. Choose love every time. And love yourself.